Hello everyone, Morvatros here. Welcome back to Valiant Hearts, The Great War. For a second there, I almost forgot what game I was playing already. Last game, the video ended sooner than I expected, so I was not able to close out. Anyways, welcome back to the game, and I'll continue where I last stopped. The Kukiri knife was used by the Gurkhas, however you pronounce that. The British unit comprised of colonial Indian troops. This Nepalese weapon was standard issue and became a symbol of the Empire forces. Its heavy, thick, and curved blade was designed for striking as well as cutting. Yay! I got to save the dog. I was gonna be pissed if the dog died.
Merci, what? Huh? Merci, mon ami. Du Ragnar. Gar Louis van der. Yeah, come this.
So, as far as I can tell, it looks like we're gonna go
Amidst
save
the
his son.
never-ending attacks and counterattacks, Freddy and Emil hunted the elusive Baron and his regiment in Ypres. On April 22nd, 1915, chlorine gas was used for the first time by the Germans.
What?
Don't die, doggy.
Go, go, go! What? Yes. Allez, oui.
Ooh, new diaries. Alright. March 10th, 1915. What a day. My life was saved twice today. First by an American soldier, then by a dog. But I'm free at last. I saw Carl before the bombing. I hope he made it out alive. I'm going to try and find him. September 7th, 1914. I missed them by a whisker. It won't happen again. My younger brother's letter was sweet. It gave me a real boost. It's good he's back in the States, miles away from this nightmare. That kid has a knack of getting himself into trouble. March 10th, 1915. Oh wow. That actually jumped quite a bit. On the march to Belgium, where this damned regiment is stationed, I'm not alone at least. I met a funny old French farmer guy, Emil. Doesn't say much, but if I understood right, his son-in-law is German. How crazy is that? Not a day goes by I don't dream of you. Emil, there, right in front of me, sprawling on the ground. Why did his regiment have to come up against mine? I hope he pulls through. He's one tough cookie. I must find out what prisoner of war camp he's been taken to. March 10th. At last I found Emil, just moments before the shells started flying. I hope he's managed to dodge the bombs. The letter he showed me filled my heart with joy. Mary is well and Victor is growing up. That's all that matters. August 24th. The letter gave me such fright. Okay, we've already read that one. There we go. September 25th, 1914. Today the Germans invaded St. Mihiel. Fortunately, the troops spared the farm. I took shelter in the cellar with Victor. Now what's going to happen? Battle of Ypres? Ypres was a key strategic town in Belgium, especially for the British. It was the gateway to the north and thus to Britain. Canadian troops were deployed in the front line, and they proved their endurance and dependability in combat to the Allies. 6,000 Canadian lives were lost in the battle in April 1915. First gas attack. April 22nd, 1915, at Ypres came the first gas attack in history. 5,730 cylinders of chlorine were opened by the Germans in favorable winds. Chlorine gas caused burns to the eyes, skin, and lungs, even through clothes and rubber boots. The effects were devastating. The only defense found by the Canadians was to cover their noses with a urine-soaked handkerchief. Oh, that's disgusting. Zeppelin bombardment. Zeppelins were invented in 1900 by the German Count von Zeppelin, but the first long-distance flight didn't take place until 1908. Zeppelins weren't much slower than the aircraft of the period and were first used in reconnaissance. They could also fly at higher altitudes so from 1915. They were used to bomb civilians in London and Paris. The dogs of war. It is estimated that by 1918 the Germans had employed 30,000 dogs, while the Allies employed 20,000. Dogs were recruited from dog pounds and the police force, while many families also enlisted their pets. Dogs had a number of roles as sentries and scouts in postal liaison and equipment transport, in locating casualties and explosives, and as mascots. The main breeds deployed were German Shepherds, Doberman, Pinschers, and Boiviers. I'm not even gonna try. Canadian identification tag. At the start of the war, Canadian identification tags were formed by a large aluminum disc, which was because they were an emergency issue and had a unique shape. They were soon replaced by standard British tags, as were those of all British Empire forces.
Allez. What? What? Ah. Up. What? Allez. What? What? What?
The only defense against the gas attack before masks were introduced was to cover the nose with urine-soaked handkerchiefs. Urine reacts with chlorine directly in the handkerchief that form less noxious products, limiting the effects. It was not the most hygienic solution, but it was also better than a lung full of hydrochloric acid. True, that's still freaking disgusting.
What? What? Does he? What? What? Yeah. Come on, man.
Woohoo!
Emil. What? What? What?
Where's my dog?
Come on, Emil. Merci, Walt.
Gas canister deployment strategy. Gas canisters deployment strategies were simple, but they did depend on the weather, especially on winds. Gas use required as constant downwind towards enemy lines to avoid the gas returning to its sender. Any battle plans were therefore dependent on weather forecast. Makes sense.
Emil, hurry up! What? 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 Hey, what? Help me, Emil! Bullshit. Thank you, my friend. You well? Don't worry.